the secret vault that could save humanity. Imagine humanity's food supply disappearing overnight. No wheat, no rice, no corn. Billions starving within months. Civilization collapsing into chaos. This nightmare scenario almost became reality multiple times throughout history. And it could happen again tomorrow. But deep in the Arctic wasteland, behind a single concrete door surrounded by endless white snow, lies humanity's most important insurance policy. Inside this frozen fortress rest 2 billion seeds from almost every crop we depend on for survival. This is the Svalbard Global Seed Vault. And it might be the only thing standing between our species and starvation. Why would anyone build humanity's last hope in one of the most remote, dangerous places on Earth? The answer will shock you. And the story of how we got here involves scientific heroes who literally died detecting seeds, political conspiracies that nearly destroyed agriculture, and a race against time that continues today. Welcome to the ultimate survival bunker, where the fate of human civilization rests on something as small as a grain of rice. This frozen wasteland called Svalbard sits 900 kilometers from mainland Norway, deep inside the Arctic Circle. The temperature averages -16 degrees Celsius in winter and can plummet to -46. Even in summer, it rarely climbs above 10 degrees. There are more polar bears than humans, and you legally must carry a gun to leave town. For 4 months each year, the sun never rises. For another 4 months, it never sets. This is literally one of the most hostile environments on the planet for human life. But for preserving seeds, it's paradise. That brutal cold is exactly why scientists chose this frozen hell as humanity's agricultural backup plan. The same harsh conditions that make life miserable for humans make it perfect for keeping seeds alive for centuries. The natural permafrost acts like a giant freezer that never stops working, even if all power fails. But the real story begins with a Russian scientist named Nikolai Vavilov, who dedicated his life to collecting seeds from around the world. In the early 1900s, he traveled across 60 countries, from China to Ethiopia to Korea, gathering over 250,000 crop varieties. He understood something that would prove prophetic. Genetic diversity in seeds was the key to humanity's agricultural survival. His collection became the foundation of the world's first major seed bank in Leningrad. But Soviet politics would soon turn his life's work into a death sentence. Under Stalin, science had to serve ideology. Mendelian genetics was branded as bourgeois science and banned. Vavilov was arrested as a dissenter and sentenced to death. He died of starvation in the Soviet prison camp, but his seeds would outlive him and save millions of lives. During World War II, Nazi forces laid siege to Leningrad for 900 days. The city starved. People ate wallpaper, leather boots, even human flesh to survive. But Vavilov's scientists refused to eat a single seed from their collection, even as they slowly died of hunger. They understood that those seeds were more valuable than their own lives. 9 scientists died of starvation, surrounded by tons of edible seeds they could have consumed. Their sacrifice became the moral foundation for the global seed preservation movement. They died so future generations could live. Their heroism reveals a terrifying truth about our food system. It's far more fragile than most people realize. Today, the world depends on just a handful of crops for survival. Wheat, rice, corn, potatoes, soybeans. If disease or disaster wiped out these major crops simultaneously, human civilization could collapse within months. Scientists call this the cereal apocalypse scenario. And it's not science fiction. It's already happening. Take bananas. Every banana you've ever eaten is essentially a clone. The entire global banana industry depends on one variety called Cavendish. But this isn't the first time. In the 1950s, the world's bananas were dominated by a tastier variety called Gros Michel. Then a fungus called Panama disease swept across banana plantations worldwide. Because all the bananas were genetically identical, they had no defense. The entire Gros Michel industry collapsed overnight. We switched to Cavendish bananas, which were resistant to that strain of Panama disease. But now scientists warn that new strains are evolving that could wipe out Cavendish too. When that happens, bananas might disappear from grocery stores forever. This same vulnerability affects wheat, rice, and corn. Industrial agriculture has pushed farmers to grow only the most profitable varieties, abandoning thousands of traditional crops. In the past 200 years, 75% of documented crop varieties have vanished forever. We've traded genetic diversity for short-term profit, and it's making our entire food system dangerously fragile. That's where Svalbard comes in. Countries from around the world deposit duplicate copies of their most important seeds here, like a safety deposit box for agriculture. If disaster strikes and crops are wiped out, nations can retrieve their seeds and restart farming from scratch. The vault itself looks like something from a science fiction movie. A single concrete door leads to a 100-meter tunnel carved into the mountainside. At the end are 3 storage chambers that can hold 4.5 million seed samples. The walls are lined with 6-meter-high shelves packed with metal boxes containing humanity's agricultural heritage. The temperature inside stays at -18 degrees Celsius. Even if all power failed, the natural permafrost would keep seeds frozen for decades. Each seed is stored in sealed packaging, labeled and catalogued like library books. But unlike a library, the vault is only opened once or twice a year. The selection process is careful and deliberate. Only edible crops make it inside. Grains, vegetables, fruits, nuts, legumes, roots. No ornamental plants or flowers. The goal isn't beauty, it's survival. Scientists collect not just one variety of each crop, but dozens of genetically diverse samples to maximize the chances of finding varieties that can survive future challenges. Today, over 100 countries have deposited seeds here. South Korea has contributed tens of thousands. Even North Korea, despite decades of isolation, has entrusted some of its agricultural heritage to this neutral vault. Seeds from enemies sit side by side, unified by the shared need for human survival. In 2015, the vault proved its worth. The Syrian civil war forced the International Center for Agricultural Research in Aleppo to shut down. Decades of seed collection were at risk of being lost forever. The center made the first ever withdrawal request from Svalbard. Wheat, barley, and legume seeds were sent to Lebanon and Morocco, grown into fresh crops and used to develop new varieties suited for African and Asian climates. It worked. Agriculture was restored, food supplies stabilized, and the genetic diversity was saved. This single success story proved that Svalbard isn't just a monument to human foresight. It's a functional lifeline for recovery. But even this fortress isn't invincible. Climate change poses the greatest threat to the Arctic vault. The Arctic is warming twice as fast as the global average. In 2017, melting ice and heavy rain flooded part of the entrance tunnel. The storage chambers remained safe, but it was a warning of what's coming. If global temperatures continue rising, even Svalbard's permafrost might not be permanent. The irony is crushing. Climate change threatens both the crops the vault is meant to protect and the vault itself. There are also political risks. If international tensions escalate, this supposedly neutral vault could become a bargaining chip in global conflicts. Some experts now argue for building a second Svalbard as backup to the backup. But for now, Svalbard stands as humanity's insurance policy against agricultural catastrophe. Every seed inside carries the genetic memory of thousands of years of human cultivation. They represent the hopes and struggles of farmers who developed these varieties through generations of careful selection. American scientist Carrie Fowler, who championed the vault's creation, said something haunting when it opened in 2008. "We hope this place will never be needed." His words remain both a prayer and a warning. The vault exists because human civilization is more fragile than we like to admit. In an age where we can send messages around the world in seconds and land rovers on Mars, we still depend on the same basic crops that sustained our ancestors thousands of years ago. Those crops face new threats from climate change, disease, and human conflict. The Svalbard Global Seed Vault stands as a testament to both human ingenuity and human vulnerability. It's a reminder that sometimes the most important treasures aren't gold or diamonds, but something as simple and essential as seeds. In those frozen chambers lies the difference between abundance and famine, between civilization and collapse, between hope and despair. The next time you eat a slice of bread, remember that its genetic ancestors might be sleeping in a frozen vault at the edge of the world, waiting to save humanity if everything goes wrong. If this story blew your mind, smash that subscribe button and drop a comment about which crop you couldn't live without. Let's start a conversation that could save the world.